Good morning, dear students. Welcome to the Institute for Open Learning for Business Studies Module 2, DES/BS22. I am your tutor, Mr. Smanza, for the subject. I may be contacted for any inquiries at the information provided above on a cell phone number 081 440 339. Our class for today will include the following content. We will discuss the important topics for the examination preparation. This class will be a summary of the three examinations: the May, August, and November examination. The class will serve as a guideline for the examination preparation and writing. Students must take note that this presentation for today is not a scope for the said examination, but it is strictly for the examination guidelines in terms of preparation and writing. Let's look at the topics of our discussion for today. We'll first look at the business terminologies, which are very important aspects that one needs to know and understand in order to have a better understanding of the subject. The examples that one needs to look at in terms of business terminologies may include terms like the authority, which is referred as to the power invested in a person in terms of executing the work or responsibilities. We look at the term like delegation, responsibility, the span of control, which is a group of people that falls under someone's supervision. Look at the term like specialization, resources, what do you need or what do you use when you are producing something, needs and wants, which are, for example, the need which is referred as to things or something that you cannot live without. We are looking at things like water, shelter, clothing, a few to mention. And then you look at the wants, which are things that are opposed to the needs, which may be referred as things that you may live without. We are looking at things like luxury things. You may live without a car. You may live without a cell phone. You may live without a ring, for example. You also look at terms like the public and private sector and resources. A few to mention, but you are advised to read more and understand every terminology used in business studies. Any question may come in this case. You may be asked to distinguish between any of the terms. You may be asked to define, to look at the meaning of each or any of the business terms. You may also find a question that may require you to compare the two or three terms, so to say. Now, what is the importance of studying business studies? One may ask you, why did you choose to study this subject? A simple answer might be, the good part of studying business studies is that it helps to guide students or people in terms of career. What do you intend to do after studying? It also helps to understand the business activities in society. And it also encourages people to be innovative in terms of business. Let's move to the aspect of economic system. In any economy, in any state, or in any country, you may find that a country may use either both systems or one system. What are we talking about? Or what are we referring about these economic systems? We are talking about the market economy, which is an economy which is privately driven. We are referring to the private activities where businesses are owned and controlled by the private people, and they are more looking at the profit motive. That there is an economy where you'll find that the business activities, the ownership of businesses are morely and partly owned by the state, and they are non-profit driven. We look at the economy like for Namibia, where you'll find the mixed economy, where you'll find the business activities and ownerships which are privately and partly owned by the state, which is a combination. Some are owned and controlled by the state, some are strictly controlled by the private individuals. In short, but you are still also advised to read more on the topic. Understand the advantages and disadvantages of such economies in any state. Let's look at the forms of ownership then, as I have tried to explain what are the ownerships of businesses that you get in such economies. As explained, you may get the types of businesses referred as to the sole traders or sole proprietors, the partnership, private and limited, the cooperatives, closed cooperative, public, a few to mention, but those are the types of ownership businesses that you may find in such types of economies. Now, let's look at the government role and interventions in society or in the economy that we are talking about. The role or the importance of the government in the economy includes a few to mention: to provide the public goods and services. These are, for example, like provision of health facilities, those are the hospital, the provision of education and educational facilities. We are referring as to the universities, the public schools, a few to mention. It is also the responsibility of the government to protect the natural resources. We are talking about the water, land, animals. The government protects such resources through policies and the regulation that ensures that such natural resources are protected and are not misused. There is also an aspect of the responsibility of the business to redistribute wealth and the income. This may be done through taxation, retirement policies, a few to mention. It also encourages competition in terms of business activities. This is by ensuring that they put policies and the regulation that prevent the monopoly strategy of business operation in society or economy. What is it that the government can do to reduce unemployment and poverty, which is a general and a common aspect that is known in African countries, including this of Namibia? The government can create or come up with interventions, for example, to sponsor the job creation schemes, provide jobs through such schemes. It can also provide or come up with policies that increase the employability, the strategies that may bring employment. Don't forget, we are talking about reducing employment. So the government will also come up with the education and training policies, the provision of educational facilities and provision of training. It can also introduce the land reform policies that regulates the ownership, the distribution of land in the economy, the introduction of social welfare grant and housing assistance. This is a general cry, especially in the Namibian economy. But luckily, such interventions are already available in terms of the Namibian economy. We are well aware of the social grants that are given to pensioners, our mothers, our grandparents, and vulnerable children that are given such welfare grants, including the newly introduced housing intervention, which is the mass housing intervention provided by the government. In short, when we talk about the role of the government and the intervention to reduce employment and poverty in society. Now, let's look at the leadership and management. The processes involved in managing such businesses that are found in these economies that we have mentioned earlier, the market and the planned economy. How are they managed? What is the difference between these two terms, leadership and management? The difference might be simple to say leadership is a process of setting the vision and influence people to achieve such a vision, while management is about planning, organizing, and command. In simple terms, one may still say leadership is a process of inspiring and leading people towards the organizational goal, while management is a possession that one applies for and is more on planning, organizing, and directing the activities of the organization. Now, there are common styles of leadership that are known in society. For example, the autocratic and the democratic. My students, read more and find out and understand the meaning of such leadership styles, the autocratic and the democratic. For example, in simple terms, autocratic type of leadership is that where a leader has the full power of deciding on what to do, how and when in an organization, as opposed to the democratic type of leadership where such a leader uses the collective approach, where he consults with other stakeholders like the employees in terms of the business decisions. Look at the advantages and disadvantages associated to such approaches of leadership, and look at the best approach depending on the type and the nature of the business activities. Any question may come in any form in this case, where you may be asked to discuss such strategies. You may be asked to state any type of leadership that you know. You may be asked to distinguish. You may be asked to choose, in case you are given a scenario, to choose which one is best. But remember, there is no best approach in terms of leadership. They are all best. The management aspect. In managing a business, remember we have differentiated between the two terms. Now we are looking at the aspect of managing the business. The managers who are assigned, who are given the authority to manage the business, has the following functions. Such functions includes the planning, which is the ability to think and decide what to do, how to do it, when to do it. The organizing aspect, function of management. We are looking at the activities of arranging the planned activities in terms of allocation of resources for the activities to run as planned. Controlling aspect of the management function would then include the ensuring and the monitoring of the business activity to ensure that such activities are run as planned. To direct the business activities, we mean to guide the employees so that such activities are done as planned. In short, the four general functions of management. Now, let's look at the qualities of a good manager. Qualities of a best manager that can bring the good results in order for the business to effectively and efficiently obtain or attain its business goals. Such qualities may include a business who has a manager or a person who have the ability to communicate effectively to all the business stakeholders. This may be either verbal or written. A person who is self-confident, who motivates himself, self-motivated. A person who has the ability and the skills to solve problems in an organization, who has the ability to present in terms of circulating or educating others in an organization. That is only in short or few examples that are given in terms of the qualities. Read more and understand. There are lots of qualities that are describing a good manager. In short, about the leadership and management, but please read in a broader sense and understand more information in relation to such a topic. Let's look at the organizational structure. Remember, we are talking about the businesses that we find in economies. What is the structure of such organization? What defines such organizational structure? In a general sense, organizational structure refers to the way the organization operates. It shows the information flow, the chain of command, the delegation of responsibilities, and coordination of activities. What describes a structure of an organization? Let's look at the few features of an organizational structure. The organizational structure includes the hierarchy of an organization, which simply relates or describes the management levels in an organization. For example, it describes who reports to who in simple terms. It also includes the responsibility aspect, which includes the accountability aspect in terms of the business activities. There is also an aspect of authority, which is the power invested in the people running such activities, the one that directs others and makes decision. The chain of command, which is the path of authorities, the levels in which the authority path from the bottom to the top, or from the top to the bottom. There is also a feature referred as to the span of control, which is a group of people that are under someone's supervision, under the managers that we are saying here. There is also an aspect of the line and staff organization, which are the managers that are assigned, given the authority and the power to oversee or to direct other people. In simple terms, to direct the span of control. There is also an aspect or a future of centralization, which is a business strategy where decisions are only made at the high level management. This is without the delegation aspect. But there is a delegation aspect in terms of the futures of an organizational structure, which simply then means the sharing, the relinquishing of some of the powers that a manager has to his subordinates, or the chain of command in this case. In simple and in short about the organizational structure, its meaning, and the futures or things that may describe the organizational structure. Let's look at the production aspect of our presentation for today. We are talking about the economy, the businesses that are found in the economy. Now, what are the production or the activities of producing goods and services in such organization that are found in the economy? I'm trying to remind you from where we started, to summarize that we started with the economy in a broader sense, where in such economies you get businesses. That businesses are managed by people. Those people manage activities of producing goods and services. Now we are at that stage of producing goods and services. What is a product? What is it that the organization produces? A product is referred to anything that a business offers for sale. Is it a car? Is it teaching services? Is it food? A cool drink? Any item that can be placed for sale. What is production then? Production is a process referred as to turning the inputs, which are things that are used in the production, which are turned into the outputs. They are turned into products, to things that are offered for sale. That is in general about the meaning of production. The factors of production, things that we are referring to as things that are using or turned into the output. We are referring to things like land. We are talking about the soil, the ground that we step on. That is land. The labor, what the employee or what the owner of the business contribute in terms of the energy and the knowledge that is used to produce goods. The capital aspect in terms of the four factors of production means the money or the assets that the owner of the business had invested in such a business. Whereas the entrepreneur aspect would then mean the person that is there to run and to produce or to turn inputs into the outputs. In short, when we talk about the factors of production, that is just in short, in a general summary of the production. But remember, read more and understand what does the product mean, what is the process, what does the production process mean, and things that are used in the production process. That is in brief about the production aspect of our class for today. We move on to the financial aspect in the business. In the businesses that we have mentioned that are found in the economy, finance, money, is an important aspect in any business operation, even in any relation, even in relation to the personal level, to an individual. Money or finance is an important aspect in any business activity. It is therefore important for any business to always work out on the best strategy when one needs to borrow money. You have to work out and understand really what is best for you to when you want to get money from somewhere. Now, when one needs to get money, they need to consider lots of factors or criterias that may be best for them. And such criterias may include the amount of money. How much do you need? You need to make a decision. If you need to expand your business, how big and how much do you need to expand such a business? So you must consider that factor when you are deciding in borrowing money. How urgent is it? Do you need it in a short period? Is it for a long period? Is it for something that you want to do tomorrow? Is it for something that you need to do today? Such a factor needs to be considered. What are the risks involved? What if it fails? What if the money that you are borrowing for, the activity or the planned activity fails? What happened? What is the guarantee? What is the collateral? You weigh the benefits and the disadvantages. You must also look at the repayment period, where you consider the spending. How much are you going to spend or to repay at the end of such a loan? We are talking about the interest in this case. It is generally known that when you borrow in a short period, you pay less interest. When you borrow in a longer period, you pay more interest. So you must consider and weigh the benefit. But it must also depend on the amount that one needs to borrow and the ability to repay such. The available options, like I've just tried to explain in the repayment criteria in this case, options are available to repay in a short period. You are also allowed to repay in a long period. This is where you have to consider the amount of money that you pay at the end, the interest involved. In short, that are few of the factors that one needs to carefully consider when considering borrowing money for the organization. Now, take note, a question may come in any form, in a form of a case study, in a form of a question that requires you to discuss, a question that may be direct to ask you, what are the criteria that are involved in managing or in taking a decision of borrowing money for your organization? Now, there are also factors that are referred as to the 5 C's in the credit analysis or the loan approval. Now, this one is used by the lender. We are referring as to the business, the people that are going to assist you with the money. What do they consider? They consider the aspect of the capability, the ability for your organization to repay the borrowed money. They consider the capital aspect. What have you as the business owner invested in the business? What assets did you contribute? And how much did you contribute? They also look at the collateral or the guarantee. They are looking at what if you fail to pay such money? How are they going to get the money? Is there any assets that are attached that when you fail to pay, they can take such assets, sell, and get their money? That is what is simply referred as to the collateral or the guarantee aspect in terms of the 5 C's. There is the character. Who are the people running the business? What are their experience? The knowledge and the qualifications that describes its business, that may give confidence to the lender to know that if we give such money, we know such people have the knowledge, the ability, and the qualification to ensure repaying our money. The condition. What is the purpose of the money or the loan? The business or the bank will look at such aspect for them to decide whether they lend you money or not. That is in short about the financial aspects of the business or in terms of our presentation. Please read more and understand. For the sake of this presentation, it is a presentation. All I'm trying to do is to summarize, try to guide you in brief on the important aspects or topics for this examination, preparation, and writing. Now, there are also other important aspects that you are advised to read and understand for this sake. Try to read the stakeholder aspect, where you'll get things like the difference between the internal and the external stakeholders, their interest, and the conflict that may arise within such stakeholders. Read and understand. It is very important. Also, look at the aspect of specialization. What is it? What is the meaning of specialization? What are the advantages and the disadvantages associated to such an approach in the business activity? You are also advised to read and understand the aspects or factors that are associated in measuring the size of an organization. Look at the challenges of doing such. The location and the relocation of the business. Please read more and understand the factors involved or factors that are considered when relocation any type of business. Read the topic in relation to budget. Understand why does one needs to budget. Read and understand. It is very important. Also look at the aspect of job satisfaction. What is it that the organization, the managers needs to do in order to satisfy their employees' needs? That is in short of about topics that needs to be covered in the preparation for your examination and writing. Please remember, I did not say I have given you the topics that will come, but I'm just guiding you on few of the important aspects or topics that one needs to read. And I still repeat to advise, read more and understand. Now, let's look at the examination, preparation, and writing guide of our presentation. The preparation part of the examination. You are advised, this is just a social advice, that to always pray when you are preparing for your examination when you are studying, when you are preparing, or to go to write to an examination. It is a social advice. You are also advised to know that all questions in the examination, all the questions that you will see on your question paper are from the content of the study guide that you are given, that is provided by our institute. You are also advised that you are not limited to the said study guide only, but you are advised to consult other sources. Go in the library, use the computer or the internet, read other books to broaden your knowledge. Make sure that you understand the outcome at the end of each unit. It is very important. It serves or it helps you to summarize, to test yourself if you really understood the topics or the content of such a unit. Please make sure you get the information about the venue and the time in advance before writing, at least a day before or two. But just for you to know such information in advance. Do not forget to carry enough material which are necessary for the exams. For example, we are talking about things like pen, watch, ruler, calculator, student card, and any other material that you may be required by that time for the sake of your subject. Now, let's look at what is it that you're supposed to do, that you are expected during the examination, as said earlier, on a social basis. First, before you start writing, for those who believe in God, take a prayer. Please make sure you first read the examination instructions carefully. This is to avoid the disqualification or the loss of marks. Make sure you read and understand. Students are not allowed to take any form of the notes into the examination. Please take note, otherwise you will be disqualified. You are also advised to consider the marks allocated to the end or to the questions, to the end of the questions, as this serves as the guide on the marks that one needs to get. So please consider the marks allocated at the end of the question, as it will guide you on the content that you have to provide in that case to avoid losing marks. Make sure you understand the meaning of the verbs used in a question. This is very important. You must understand the meaning of the verbs used in a question. For example, the term discuss. When you get such a term in a question, please understand that you are required to point out the positive and the negative features of such a discussion and arrive at the conclusion. Summarize. You may also get a term like briefly outline. Briefly, in short. It's all about requiring you to explain in short. Differentiate simply means look at the differences. A question may come to tell you to state or to list. It's very simple. All they are referring you is to give names and facts without explaining. There are a lot of verbs that are used and they are in your study guides. Please read and understand the meaning. It is then you'll then understand what is required in the question. My dear students, that is in short about our class for today, and I wish you good luck.